indulgence of the organizers to stand on the already established protocol. First, let me say I'm delighted to be here and also to see in the room a lot of young people. You people that most, I hate to use the word, progressive countries look forward to as the engine of growth of their economies. We are in a knowledge society. And today, knowledge has become the most valuable commodity that people trade with. You can use knowledge to improve yourselves, to harness your resources, to deploy them, even for export to earn revenue. Or you can use that knowledge, you can export that knowledge like any other commodity, you can trade with it. Either through formal channels or through less than formal channels. What countries like China and India have been able to do successfully. They send their young people, their brilliant minds. They go to the West, they study how the West have been able to develop. They learn skills, they acquire knowledge. They learn how to innovate. And they go back to their country and apply the same thing to uplift their people out of poverty, to improve the standard of living of their people, and to generate wealth and shared prosperity for their people. So you see them move within one generation, sometimes two, from a developing to an advanced country. If you fail to seize this initiative, your story will be like that of the Democratic Republic of Congo and Nigeria, that are very rich in natural resources. We have endowments in population, yet we are unable to transform our society, and we are at the wrong end of all development indices. We have the highest mortality rate, which means when you are a woman and you are pregnant in this country, you are in trouble. Not all of you will be able to deliver safely. We have the highest rate of out-of-school children. I'm saying this, I'm not criticizing anybody, because I've been part of government, as you may know, for more than 3 decades, so I'm part of the blame. But I want us to realize where we are and why we need to invest in our young people. Why we need to trust you to bail us out. You must accept that challenge because you really don't have a choice. It is your world we are talking about. People in my age bracket, if I spend another 10, 20 years, I'm lucky. But we must change our narrative. And there are very positive signals. I will talk a little bit about that. But it's important to hone on the problem. So we don't just talk about it and we go and just go and take a few drinks and you forget about it. No. You should be acutely aware of what the problem is in this country and what we need to do to get out of it. We cannot have issues where the only country in the modern era that will produce something but we don't create any value from it. We are the world's largest producer of cassava. Same value derived from it, less than 5%. We only for gari and starch and whatever, and that's all. But there are 23 products that same cassava can be used for, because we lack the industrial base, because we are intellectually lazy. We are now importing those same additives from other countries for our pharmaceutical industry when we produce the original material. We are one of the, is it number 4 or number 5 in producing cocoa around the world, second in Africa to only Cote d'Ivoire. When we sell our cocoa pods, they even do us, in our local parlance, yanga. They say, this one has this one, they price it anyhow they like. The same cocoa that we sell to them, because we refuse to add value, because we refuse to process it in our country, they will turn it to beverages and sell it to us 5 times. They will sell it to chocolate. They convert it to chocolate and sell it to us 10 times. What kind of people are we? Nigeria is the 6th to 7th world producer of oil. Major OPEC country. Number 1 in Africa, Angola is behind us. But you all know, we export crude oil and import refined petroleum products from people who have no oil. They buy the crude oil from the international market that we sell at low price, and they refine and sell it back to us that own it originally, and we pay so much. That's why we have a subsidy, because the price at which they sell it to us is far more than how much we sell the crude to them. And we have been fighting in this country for more than 20 years now because of subsidy or no subsidy, removal of subsidy or no removal of subsidy. That is in Nigeria. I apologize, but that is what we are bequeathing to you. We need to get to a point we draw the line. Thank God, Dangote is trying to remove part of our shame. We have a refinery. At least let us even be producing in our country. Let nobody be abusing us. We may not like some of his practices and all that, but he's a Nigerian. He can't go anywhere. He cannot run away from this country. We can sit down with him and agree on certain basic things. We will help him and let him help us too. And in any case, it is our own. So, my dear young people, countrymen, my speech is targeted at one element: how we can play in the global knowledge society. How do we prepare our people to take advantage of that market that is out there? I have a speech well written. I'm not going to read that speech. I'll share it to your media. But I'll take you through 2 elements I want you to understand. First, I talked about us having comparative advantage. What does that mean? The fact is that whether by their own creation, whether they like it or they don't like it, we have an advantage. And what is that advantage? We have one of the highest rate of growth of population, a very youthful population. Unlike in many other countries, many of them now are experiencing negative population growth rate. A lot more are experiencing aging population. So if you look at their demography, they have more old people than young people. That is why you hear them announcing all sorts of visa programs. It's not because they like us. They don't have people who can work for them anymore. People are now under Medicare. Every day we work for 1 day and the hospital for 3 days. And some are consuming without being able to add. So they want energetic, brilliant young force. So they give us visa schemes to come there. They attract our best brains and people are doing japa. I say we shouldn't run away from it. And I'm not against people who japa, frankly. It is our own new oil, intellectual resources. We should only make sure we produce more, since that is our comparative advantage. Educate more people, train more people, so we export some, and we keep the one we need to use. Those ones we are exporting, they will bring back our money. Two, the world of work is changing. In those days where economies are production driven, we now have the Industrial Revolution, machination, processes, and so on. The world has changed. Most of those things you require manpower, hard labor. Machines can do them effortlessly now. There are even robots who don't get tired, they don't have any feelings, that can continue producing. So where the need is the intellect, the creativity, your ability to innovate, to make, your ability to manage, to analyze. That is why the work of tomorrow, they are looking for people. We call them global citizens. People who can fit into any society, fit into any work environment, and be able to exhibit the skills that they have. And what type of skills are we talking about? We are talking about critical thinking. People who will look beyond the surface, be strategic, be able to plan. Problem-solving skills. If you have a problem, how do we resolve this? What are the options? Nigeria has a power problem. We are generating 6,000 megawatts for a country of 216 million. And our industrial complex, why are we not competitive in production? If you have any factory in Nigeria, you must generate your own power. Your water, you have to be a local government on yourself. And you are competing with somebody for whom they just plug in. These things are already available. Even subsidized in some countries, they have what they call export-free zones. We are trying to copy that model too, which is important, because you help those who produce by bringing down their cost of production, and that way their product will be comparatively cheaper than the product of other countries, and therefore other people will buy it, they export, they earn foreign exchange. It's simple economics. Nothing rocket science. So we need people. The world today is ruled by data. Many of you understand what I mean. Data rules the world today. Every information, activity you monitor, whether it's security, whether it's even lifestyles and patterns and everything, they're driven by data. So data and its analytics has become a very critical demand area. If you go to many of our banks now, their ICT sections are empty. They've all japared because they are looking for them all over the world. And they're offering them 20 times the salary First Bank, Zenith, GTB are paying them. The way you lament, labor will always move. Greener pastures. If you ask me to come and become president of Ghana now, I will even drop this microphone and go. But let us train our people. 3 more hands. For each one that go, in 3 more. That is why it's important for us to also make the transition. The way we teach in our schools today have to change. We have to focus on the needs of industry, the workforce of tomorrow. It has actually become today. And COVID-19 taught us so many things that you don't have to be physically present anywhere to work. In fact, many places, many offices in the advanced countries now have adopted it. Half of their workers don't need to go into their offices anymore. You work from home, you work from anywhere, because most of the things that they do are done online. And online, you can organize meetings, you can do one-on-one consultation and consultancy with somebody you are following up on. You can grant your approvals. There's really anything that you cannot do electronically. So work in your house. You can even work for 3-4 different people by just scheduling yourself. And it's one area we should play very well because we have comparative advantage in that area. As I speak to you, before they started feeling that they are now big players and are no longer even interested in outsourcing jobs, India built up to 48 million of their citizens who are doing outsourcing jobs. As sometimes when you hear on your phone, the data center, you're making a call, the person who is talking to you from where? Somewhere in India. I was in India and I saw where all the data of First Bank. I was interested in First Bank because that used to be my main bank. Where they stored it, they showed it to me. And I felt a little bit sorry for myself when I saw it. Besides the outsourcing, we have 48 million. If we can get 20 million Nigerians into outsourcing, our economy will completely change. We're not going to get there in one day, but we should start. How do we start? EdTech. EduTech, you call it. Learn a skill. Make the sacrifice. Third Fund, as I speak, is offering this service free of charge for students in our tertiary institutions currently. We are encouraging students, do your course. I didn't say you shouldn't do your course. But we have created a platform, Terrace. It's written here. And we have partners. The last person who spoke is one of our partners. And there are so many of them that if you have any content, if you have any improvement, and I'm extending that invitation to all these names I'm seeing here, if you are not already dealing with us, if you have anything you think you have that is good for these people here and for our students, come to us. Because we need to make that transition very quickly. We're introducing something we call Learn to Earn. We're going to launch it in January. Where our students, who've identified about 13 different areas where there is global demand for workforce. And they have designed packages of training to prepare you for those jobs. So we'll encourage, starting with our students first, we are still established primarily for those students. But at the second layer, we are also encouraging the schools to be more relevant to their communities, to extend that facility to people from the community too, so that they can come, be part of that program, learn the skill, get certified, and they will map you to the places they work, the people who are demanding those skills all across the globe. So that when you are still in school, trying to earn your BSc or BA or B whatever, you can already start working and start earning. That is why we call it Learn to Earn. And that is what we should all be doing. We are forming partnerships. I'm very glad. I had a very robust conversation with the chairman of EFCC. And I'm very happy with what he's doing. He has powers to jail all these Yahoo boys. But he's telling us, how many can you jail? What opportunities, alternative opportunities have you given to these young, brilliant people? For you to be able to dupe somebody, you must have skill. To fool a full-grown adult, So now willfully throw his money away and you collect it. You must have some skill. And it's Americans that started it. When you beat them, identity theft, all of that, and FBI finally catches up with you, they are not interested in jailing you. They will offer you a deal. They will you and begin to use you to catch other people. That is what we want to do. We want all our young men, including those who are astray, let them be trained. In fact, EFCC is establishing a whole research center where they will be training, is a proper, what do they call it? It's not this other one that was done. I don't like that. The one about Boko Haram people. Rehabilitation or whatever. This one will be proper rehabilitation. Because you will be given a skill. You will be monitored. You will now begin to earn legitimately. Rather than the one you are doing that. Not how many of these crooks last to 40, 50 years. They don't. It's come easy, go easy. If the law enforcement doesn't catch you, your own colleagues who you are doing the business together, they want to trap you, they want to eliminate you so that they can collect the entire loot and so on. So it is a very brutish short life. And we must discourage anybody who is doing it. It does not pay. It looks like it pays for a short period. 2-3 years, you are doing big guy, you are hilting, and so on. After that, they kill you. But you can legitimately use that skill and grow and begin to also help other people. You become an employer. You also begin to do all the big things that you are aspiring for, legitimately. And you can do it in peace. That is what I wish for each and every one of us. The future of our country depends on how much we invest in our people, especially the young people. We need to become globally competitive. They are afraid of us. That's why some people like me are very optimistic, because I know the moment we get it right, it will not take time at all before we get there. Because God has been very kind to us. Nigerians are very brilliant people. And we are very hard workers. It's all over there. I was telling you. I was in South Korea in a mall. And boom. I started hearing Nigerian music. In South Korea. And the moment I heard it, I know it was a little bit of a surprise because I wasn't expecting it. Only 2 of us were Nigerians in the whole place. And then suddenly, they said they realized that I was Nigerian for me to be responding. So it became like a carnival. They all swarmed up. All of them knew all the various ways of dancing. These are our songs. So Nigerian music is going all over the world. Our movies are everywhere. Our African countries love Nigerian music. They see you, they ask after all the stars. Those are indices that Nigeria can excel. Our creative industry can be made very vibrant. But a lot of it too, we ride on EduTech. Because the value of anything you create increases exponentially when you take advantage of digital resources. The quality of the product will improve. The availability of that product will expand. And that is why whatever you do, acquire digital skills, acquire ICT skills, embrace technology. Don't run away. Many of us old people are very conscious of that. You realize that even your kids, sometimes the things that my own grandchildren do with their devices, it shocks me, it surprises me. And each time I get home, my grandson will say, give me your phone. He's always looking for my phone. Because he knows there is credits in that one. He can download games and other things that the mother will be controlling him. But how he's able to do it, sometimes I'm the one asking them, 7-year-old. I keep telling my staff this story, that my 7-year-old grandson without finding out from me, was able to determine what my password on my phone is. I'm not joking. This is true story. When I initially gave him, I knew he's going to come back, and then suddenly I saw he was using it. I said, what happened? He said, I know your password. And he so simply, the mom asked him, and he said, no, I can't tell you. You know, I refused to change that password just to honor his endeavor. You know, that's the truth. So please, I want each and every one of you, even if not you, your brother, your sister, your friends, spread this message. Once we agree as a people, and we shut ourselves out, the noise, what I describe as noise, are all these things that pull us apart. Religion, where did you come from? Where were you born? A child that was born in Abuja has never gone to his village. When he wants to write WAEC or do a jam, you say, I'm using score of people in your state. He doesn't know, and you refuse to admit him. I have advocated that we should abolish indigenship. Let's use residency and citizenship. So that if you do that, we will be one people. Let's judge ourselves by who we are, not all this nonsense. So if we shut out the noise, I am convinced that in no distant future, Nigeria will be the envy of all the countries around the globe. I thank you very much for this opportunity. And I'll make my paper available so that it talks more about the technical aspects of EduTech, and that can be shared. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Please, let's give it up for